live trade I took on Friday the 26th of May 2023. Got tagged in at 8 minutes past 11 at price 7301. 8 minutes past 11, price 7301. I have my stop loss set at 4 pip, 261, 261. The take profit set at 461, 461 for 4%. And we got closed out at 10 to 12. 10 to 12, 4%. We had that copied over onto my FTMO challenge as well. Which, yeah, if we stay tuned, had a slightly different trade management because we almost hit our 10% profit target. So I changed the rules a little bit, but there was still our entry build slightly different from the trade copy at 301, and I'd move my stop loss up instead of a take profit to 415, try and give it some more room. Locking in just under 3% to try and get our take profit, but we ended up getting taken out instead of the challenge. It was still a nice trade, and that was over on our FTMO here. So there's our 4% on our live account now, and 8.5% on our FTMO challenge, still ongoing. Okie dokie, so breaking this one down on the charts then, and as per, I'm just going to mark the low 15-minute time frame here, as this is the next day, and maybe that candle hadn't been there yet, not sure. Anyway, but starting from our hard time frame narrative, just needed to go up 4 hour this one. And this is actually a really good example of when I was talking about before, about how it can be quite tricky to identify the difference between a breakout. Okay, so if this is going short, we're breaking out of this low here, which is swept, mitigated. Okay, and see how we're actually gone below it now. Okay, so is this breaking out short, or is this sweeping this low, mitigating, and then going to pull back? And what I found what helps me identify if it's a sweep or breakout is I'll class it as a breakout as long as supply continues to serve. Okay, but if it's sweep, usually mitigate is something pretty strong, and then if we start seeing supply fail and demand start breaking serve, then I class that as a sweep. And that is this badger. So it's actually a counter trend trade, because currently we have 4 hour swing structure low, and it's also on the daily as well, we're bearish. But what I had seen, so we had come down, we swept this low here, which is a lovely bit of liquidity. And you can see what we mitigated. We've mitigated this sell, buy, that's caused the flip, broken out of a range. Okay, so we now mark up my points of interest here. So it's tested this level, strong level of 4 hour supply, come up, tested, come down, swept all this liquidity, come back up, tested again, failed to break the low. This supply has now failed to continue. Markets come up, drop some inducement, this is inducement, whatever, to break long. Basically, this inducement's already been swept by this, push up again, and that was only just to create some more inducement, some liquidity, swept again. This badger. So I like this higher time frame Then, are we serving from a point of interest that created a flip? Yeah, very strong point of interest. Let's flip this level of supply, and it was looking nice. I'm not just going to play straight off this though. Yeah, so it's a strong point of interest, but what I really liked is if we actually zoom into this price action here as well, on the 4 hour, after tapping into this and sweeping that liquidity and supply order flow coming down, we actually created a supply to demand range flip on the 4 hour as well. So now demand is actually serving the range, which was looking nice. So now I went down to the 15 minute, and 15 minute was starting to look really juicy. Get rid of the 4 hour. Okay, so this was us tapping into the 4 hour point of interest here. We had liquidity within our point of interest as well, which is now being swept. Nice. This one, these levels of supply end up going as well. We'll mark those out in a minute. But for now, so we tapped into here. That's a bit messy, isn't it? Let's just leave that. Come back up. Supply is failing to create a low, getting tested. Failing to create a low, almost getting tested. Failing to break the low, getting tested. Failing to break the low, and we're breaking up. And it's a bit messy. All this is kind of like trickling through supply, but all this is breaking this level of supply as well. Yeah. So what are we doing? On a higher time frame, we're in this point of interest to see if demand is going to start breaking supply serve. And that's what we're starting to see. Supply is failing to continue shorts. Now demand is starting to break levels of supply. I believe, what time is that? Yeah, I had this point of interest marked out. It was actually a little bit bigger like this. Right, because I saw this level come up, sweep, mitigate, failed to break the low. This was the inducement. A bit cleaner. Dropped inducement and then broke levels of supply. And we're coming back down again. And yeah, I had this point of interest marked out around 8 AM. It was looking quite nice. I thought, yeah, cool. I will actually go through this a little bit here because like I missed a trade here. It's not missed it, I just didn't get tagged, really. So there's our inducement. I was waiting for coming down into this area here for our 1 minute entry model. And look, we actually got our 1 minute entry model just here. Is that chalk low? Why is my internet slow? Come on, mate. Chalk long. Why does that not work? There you go. See the flip there as well. And I think I wasn't too keen on this one. There's two reasons. Is that we haven't had our inducement yet. And I hadn't actually tapped into this point of interest yet. Okay, but we got a chalk, we got a flip. But then she really pushed off. And we created a 15-minute supply to the range flip. We broke these levels. There's a strong level there, which basically had got tested, broken up. So this was now the inducement, which I liked. There's our 1 minute entry model. But I was a bit like, well, what's this tapped into? So if it goes from just anywhere, you know, I hadn't previously marked this out, but I'll go back and investigate. And look at that, it actually has swept our inducement. Oops. Mitigated this little badger that's caused this flip. Tested, 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 dropped inducement, mitigating the extremity in here. So I was like, oh, maybe we weren't needing to go down into this area here. I was just seeing order flow now, and like demand's like sweeping, mitigating, breaking levels of supply. I was like, we're looking interesting. But we missed this one. She's gone. Yeah. But I believe this is what I have marked out. I wasn't actually going to enter straight off this because we've had too much price action happen now. 15-minute new ranges have been created. We've now got supply range coming down into us. So I wanted to wait for another 1 minute chock. You say that's too patient. Some people could say that we've got everything we need to enter from here. But yeah, I wanted to wait for another 1 minute chock. I also want to show, EU's been a little bit messy recently. I don't know if it's the whole stuff going on with, you know, the reserve currencies and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. But it is, I understand that this price action is quite tricky to kind of break on down, but I mean, that's why we have this checklist. Okay, it's not like you're looking for stuff, it's like, you know, these boxes are getting ticked. No trade looks exactly the same every time, you know. And this was fitting the edge. I was like, hell yeah, let's go for it. So all this price action we've explained, where it's come up, swept, failed, dropped inducement, broken up. We've now swept that inducement, mitigated, gone up, and then now like this. This is where things got a little bit attention to detail, but it was good. Gone up. This high has swept this liquidity, right? Was it here? Mitigated. That level of supply. There, it's broken out. It swept, mitigated, and still failed to break the low. Right? And then this is a lock clean on the 1 minute. That little wick. But it got broken. Okay, so it tested, failed, broke. And then we dropped more inducement for the break as well. Yeah, I was like, happy days, we fit the plan. Not almost just going off this, we're seeing the same thing happen now. You've got a bit of nice demand order flow. Yeah, supply getting broken, flipped, demand holding in a strong high time frame point of interest. You can see how that's a lot cleaner on the 1 minute now. That's the supply failing to break the low, dropping inducement instead, going on to get broken. Got a very strong, clean 1 minute point of interest here, which has swept all this inducement as well. So yeah, I was coming down here waiting for 1 minute chock, which we got. So the low held. I mean, again, this is going really attention to detail here. I remember seeing this and thinking that's even sweeter. That is like 1 minute inducement. Tapping into the extremity. Inducement before the flip, and we're tapping into the extremity there. Okay? Just attention to detail. And then this was our chock. And yeah, flip, This level goes as well. That was the badge I said it was the inducement. And we had all this lovely bit here, inducement again. This is a long day, to be honest with you, because look, this is 8 in the morning. I was kind of waiting for this from about here. And when she went without us, it's alright though, I was doing other bits and bobs. Then she trickled back down. My alerts got set off around these areas. Got the chock again, and she went again. I was like, okay. Can you notice there's another nice little compliment here as well? Is that we've got another supply to demand range flip. Sorry guys, my internet's a little bit slow. She is. So yeah, I was happy with this. Here's our inducement. That badger. So I originally had this one marked out, right? And then I actually started looking at price action. You see these nice big wicks? There's always stuff in wicks, which is just below this inducement here. I was like, oh, we don't have to be so aggressive in going for this one here. And I think I originally had a 3.5. No, okay, I had 4. Covering this low here. But I thought we could be going from the wicks as well. I just wanted to cover the wicks, and I think I never ever play like round numbers or something, but it just seemed right. I had it set as 7,300 there. Not quite covering the low, but as long as this is covered, everything was sweet. This was almost costly, which you'll see in a minute. Covering this would have been just fine. Didn't have to cover these wicks. Round numbers mean nothing. But yeah, at the time, I was like that. And yeah, okie dokie. So 15 minute, I've gone through all that. We've got the flip inducement. Always say on point of interest that created a 15-minute clipper above. Yes, and we've just created a supply to demand range flip 2. Swept loads of liquidity. We're just sweeping liquidity, medicating and breaking supply. Now on the 1 minute, we've had the chock, we've had flip, we've got swept liquidity, and we've got flip inducement. Chock, flip, flip. Swept all this liquidity. Flip inducement. Yeah, flip inducement. So I'm happy with this. Where am I? She is. Yep, don't think there's anything else to cover there. Head around, dropping loads more liquidity. I'm not going to chase it. All this was, as I said, it was quite a long day. I'm missing the sunset. Well, I'm not. I'm watching the sunset from my roof, really. I'm waiting for the alerts to go off. But yeah, all this is just building, building, building. We're actually going outside my trading hours a bit as well now. Sneaked over to 11 o'clock. Some can say it's the low hour, but at the end of the day, I love this setup, so I'm going to wait around for it. Tapped. Squeaky, squeaky. Almost got tapped out. Glad we had a 4 pip. That's what I'm saying. Probably should have covered this low, but got lucky here. And yeah, went off. 1 to 4. Happy days. I also want to cover something else here as well, where obviously I've got a trade copier going for our other 100k FTMO challenge, and it was at 1. We needed like 4.5, right? So this is 1 to 4, and what I did is the second I placed my take profit. So there's our entry. We got filled at 301. 301. We had our stop loss at 261. 261. I set my take profit at 461. 461 for 1 to 4, 4%. It's very nice. Tagged in at 8 minutes past 11 until 10 to 12. About there. 8 minutes past 11 to 10 to 12. Exit the trade there. But anyway, yeah, so what I did was once I had everything set, I then removed my trade copier, went over to my challenge broker, which is here, removed the take profit, and was basically watching it to see if we got over the line to 10%. And we got close. We got like 9, I think it got up to like 9.7%, maybe. Yeah, kind of a little bit higher. But also, like normal, this is a good trade. My plan is 1 to 4s. I'm not just going to leave everything on the table. And what I did was, it's a bit messy, isn't it? So you can see all these levels of supply just getting broken. But for my challenge broker, I moved my stop loss up underneath this 1 minute low here, to like 415, which was locking in just under 3%. So I'm giving it room to breathe past the challenge, but I'm also happy with the 3% trade, and I want to pay myself. If this fully reverses, then that's just daft. You know what I mean? Anything can happen in the market. So yeah, I locked in my broker, so look, filled a slightly different entry, so 302. And then I moved my stop loss up to 415, which is here. Didn't quite hit over our 10%, and we came back down and got taken out. And then she would have actually gone on maybe to pass. I mean, we would have been so close. 4.25. I reckon that would have been a pass. Oof. Do we keep going? Oh yeah. So hindsight's nice, but at the end of the day, yeah, I want to pay myself. Covering that, it's all good. It's doing a nice precision on the challenge, which we also, yeah, I've already done all this on our proof bits. So yeah, we're running 8.5% now on the challenge, 4% up on our live account, which is good. But yeah, that's the technical side of the trade. As we said, it was nice, strong level of demand that caused a higher time frame flip. Then we got a 4-hour supply to demand range flip. Then on a 15-minute, we're seeing levels of supply getting broken. All on the 1 minute, it's getting nice and strong. Good pushes from demand, trickling back to mitigate. And yeah, happy with that trade. Cool. Went off a little bit. But yeah, happy days. Hi guys, hope that helps. Look forward to seeing you all on the next trade, and happy trading. See you later. Cheers. Bye. Okay, so let's have a look at our entry criteria in picture perfect format. So we're going to start off with demand. So we're looking for buys, and on the higher time frame, pro trend. Okay, so when you see me ticking the boxes, are we pro trend? This is kind of what I have in my mind, what we're seeing. Alright, we want to be seeing higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. Then when we come back within the previous range, it's important that we're back into the range. I don't want to be taking longs after the breakout. I want to see price pull back. Usually be a refined point of interest somewhere here. I'm happy to be pretty aggressive and just go straight for the 15-minute entry model combined with our 1 minute entry execution, obviously. But yeah, there's no real clean flips or anything we need to see. I just want to see demand range order flow, demand swing structure, order flow, lows holding, highs getting broken, and this is simply trend is your friend. If we start seeing that demand is still serving from these refined points of interest, then we're going to go with the flow, man. I also have, are we serving from a point of interest that created a flip and has inducement? All that good stuff, pro trend as well, because yeah, that's still great. You know, this has been flipping levels, and we've got inducement, we've got a point of interest, and we're pro trend. It's even stronger, so that's nice. But I'm happy to just simply go with range and swing structure order flow. Okay. So moving over to still in the higher time frame, but now counter trend, and you can see there's a little bit more going on now because we want a bit more confidence because we're kind of going against the grain here. So we want to see a bit more confidence. So are we serving from a point of interest that created a flip and has inducement? Okay. So you would see something like, again, we're still looking for buys, we're looking for demand, but you would see like supply creating lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, failing to create a lower low. Okay, coming up, testing this level of supply, which is a strong level because it broke structure. Okay, so it's got to test a strong level of supply. Still fails to create a new low, and then demand breaks supply serve, breaks out. Okay, and what you'll see here is, I say this breakout stops, because when the market sees that there's more demand than supply in the market, there'll be a lot of orders and stops underneath the previous low, and that's our liquidity, that's our fuel for our counter trend move. Okay, so we want to be coming down, and like this could be X amount of time, this could be a couple of years, doesn't even matter. If we're seeing a strong high time frame setup like this, okay, and we've had all this price action happen, and then we've had supply is actually currently serving. But if we're in a strong point of interest that is like swept liquidity, got inducement, and created a strong flip, then we can go down to our 15-minute entry model combined with our 1-minute entry model. Right, but really important, got inducement, and it's created a flip. Okie doke. So that's our counter trend higher time frame. Okay, so now onto the 15-minute time frame. Now on 15-minute, there's no more pro or counter trend setups, it's just the same setup, either way we're going. Alright, so this is either the supply pulling back into our pro trend range, most recent range, yeah, or this is supply coming into our strong counter trend point of interest. Okay, and it's pretty much the same details as the counter trend. We see supply causing a lower low, a lower high, a lower low, lower high, but failing to create a lower low. You could see a bit of range price action going on here, creating liquidity, like a bit of indecision in the market or fair price, whatever you want to call it. And then supply, which is a strong level of supply because it broke structure. Yeah, it's come up. And now if it's going to continue the trend short on the 15-minute, it would have swept liquidity and create a new lower low, breaking this low here. Right? So it sweeps liquidity, it's got a fair chance by having the fuel to do so, and still fails to create a new low. And demand holds. Now what's happened is demand has actually swept liquidity, mitigated some demand order flow, mitigated our pro trend range, mitigated our counter trend strong point of interest. Come back up, tested supply, supply is still failing, and actually breaks supply. Okay, and has a flip. So do we have a flip? Sorry, do we have flip inducement? I've got these the wrong way around really. Yep, so same detail as I just explained. We'll see these breakout, market breaking out, and there'll be a lot of orders and stops placed underneath the previous low. That's the fuel you want. So do we have flip inducement? Yes. Are we serving from a point of interest that created a 15-minute flip or above? Yes. So this is demand that basically broke supply serve, range flip, all the good stuff. And very important on the 15-minute as well is, are we serving from an area that's swept liquidity? Okay, because if you haven't swept liquidity, you become the liquidity. Alright. So yeah, that's our 15-minute entry model, yeah, both pro and counter trend. Then once we see all this setting up, and we've had the inducement, and kind of pulling back now into the extremity, this is where we're looking for our 1 minute entry model. Boom, boom. This is game time. So yeah, this will be our 15-minute point of interest. I should have done this on all the time frames really. That's this badger. Now here. And what we want to see is, again, like price actions fractal, yeah? We want to buy, so we want to see that demand is serving. We want to see that there's more demand than supply in the market. Now we're seeing that on the high time frame, whether it's pro trend or from a strong point of interest that's flipped. We're now seeing that on the 15-minute time frame, that demand is a broken supply serve. And now we just want to see it on the 1 minute time frame. And if we see that, then probability is on our side that buys are a go. Little additional cherry, yeah, the Asian sweep. We'll like to see this as well. So this would be like the Asian market, and we'll come down around London, after 7 AM, London Open. If we start seeing this kind of price action, it's even extra juicier, but it's not a must. It's just an additional cherry. So you'll see, on my entry criteria, the 1 minute entry model, do we have a minimum of 1 minute chock? Okay. Chock is basically a change of character, a change of trend. And the reason I had this 1 minute is because I have been aggressive in the past. This is more for me, that you see me go down to the seconds, and when I have like a real high probability or strong, high time frame, 15-minute point of interest, sometimes I can get carried away on the seconds, and you'll see a big push in on the 1 minute. You'll see like a 30 seconds setup and the flip and change of character and stuff, and then we'll get an entry, and all it does is it comes up to the previous high of the 1 minute and just continues the 1 minute trend short, does an extra sweep, and then goes. So I like a 1 minute chock. I want to see this minimum on the 1 minute change of character. But anyway, another little additional cherry would be that our liquidity is within our point of interest. You'll see supply coming down, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, test this level of supply, fail to break the low, and then demand break. Okay, and again, on this little breakout in the 1 minute, there'll be stops and orders below here. This is the inducement and the fuel. Now, sometimes price does go from here, or you can call these the decisionals. But again, I just learned to personally, I just go from the extremities every time, to keep the probabilities in my favour. So do we have a minimum of 1 minute chock? Yes. Has there been a flip? Yeah, so suppliers had a chance to continue the trend here, but it's failed and then got broken. Have we swept liquidity? Yep. This is the bit where we would have swept this liquidity, ideally within our 15-minute point of interest. And do we have inducement? Do we have fuel for the move to come? Yeah, just flip inducement is ideal. We want it before the flip. Okay, and then that's when price will be coming back into this area here, and we'll be hitting market execute. It should be flying to the moon, and then our trade management will be going from there. Cool. Okay, so obviously it's going to be the same for supply. I am going to make a quick little video for supply as well, just to get eyes on from the other way. But that is what we're looking for in the trade to come.